Good evening, Fernwood. My name's Neil. It's time for us to watch some Mary Hartman together. We are just about to approach the May 12th, 1976 episode. Let's do a brief recap of what we saw before, and then maybe we'll just get on with the show. We start with a jump back. We start with a repeated scene where Dennis has come to Kathy's party and has a brief face off with Mary about the pain that she is going through. Dennis seems to ignore entirely. And then Tom shows up and makes Dennis feel very unwelcome. We come after that to the scene, which seems to be that evening or that night, Tom and Mary in bed, not getting along too well. Tom wants to dig into the what is going on with Dennis question. Mary avoids it like anything. And as they go to bed, Mary names Howard as she falls asleep. That is a complicated woman we're talking about. We then go on to see the Haggers as Loretta continues her move towards a church position or towards a participation in the church. Charlie is somewhat hesitant about that and urges her toward a more secular career, or at least the career that she had dreamed of beforehand. I have complicated feelings about that, but I talked about that yesterday. We then come to the Shumways, where Martha and George talk about Tom's participation in the union and how frustrating that is for George. Of course, George towing the company line. George is completely okay with the misallocation of union funds. He calls it greasing the wheel or some such. It seems pretty shady to me. And that ends with a scene between Kathy and Dennis, where Kathy is very excited about the wedding and Dennis continues to hold off until Thursday. And if you've been with us for a little while, you know that Thursday means that Dennis is expecting to have some sex with the Mary Hartman. We'll see what happens there. A little interlude before we start the episode. I'd been speculating just in the back of my mind about the upcoming remake of Mary Hartman. I think there'll be quite a lot of changes, but one that I wanted to think about out loud was, what would Tom's job be in the modern day? Tom has a very unhappy factory job. He is not satisfied there in any way, and there's a lot of union busting going on. And it occurred to me that it would seem sort of thematically appropriate that Tom in the modern day might work for a company like Amazon, working in their big storehouse box, whatever they do there. I don't think a single person working for Amazon might be able to afford to support a whole family if they were the only person working. I don't really know how that works. It just seems like a very unsatisfying and unsafe kind of job that might be appropriate for a person like Tom. I'm kind of curious how the show will update, because there's a lot of things that really seem to resonate modernly, and there's a lot of things that just aren't the same. So I'm curious what's going to happen with this new show. But speaking of curious, I'm very curious to see the May 12th, 1976 episode of Mary Hartman.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Pass the cream, please. Mary. Mary.
What?
The cream.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have been daydreaming.
About what? Same thing you're night dreaming about?
Night dreaming?
Yeah, last night. It's one hell of a dream you had last night, wasn't it?
It was? Why?
You should have seen the goofy look you had on your face when you woke up. What was it about?
I can't remember.
Can't or won't?
asking you about my dreams. You're not a psychiatrist.
Look, I'm your husband, Mary, and I got a right to know what you're thinking about. And who?
Tom, this is the United States of America, and this is a bicentennial year. I mean, for 200 years, we have had certain inalienable rights. The rights of free press, the rights of free speech, and the rights of free assembly. Although I must say I never did understand that one, because in my school they never did charge for assembly. And also, if I remember correctly, the right of free dreams.
I don't believe this conversation, huh? I mean, I asked you a simple question about a dream you had last night, and you're turning it into a bicentennial lecture. What are you trying to do, huh? Are you trying to avoid an answer?
What was the question?
Oh, okay. You don't have to answer the question, because I already know what the answer is. You don't have to tell me. I mean, it all adds up.
To what?
To a lot of things, Mary. Strange disappearances. Where you were last Thursday. Italian movies you never went to. Kissing your sister's fiancé. Calling me by his name. To the way you looked at him last night at Kathy's showers. All that's into one thing. You were dreaming about Foley last night, weren't you? Because you can't get him out of your mind.
Tom, this is all circumstantial evidence. You would never get a conviction. If Petricelli had this case, it would get thrown right out of court.
Mary, this is not a television show. This is your life.
That is a television show.
Mary, would you please try to be serious about this, huh? You don't seem to realize this is a problem.
Tom, does it really mean that much to you to know who I was dreaming about?
Yes, it does.
It really does? Okay, if it means that much to you to know who I was dreaming about, I'll tell you. I was dreaming about Frank Sinatra.
Oh, come on, I don't believe that.
Tom, I was. I didn't believe it either. I mean, it was me, Mary, dreaming about Frank Sinatra. But I mean, there he was, and he was just upstairs in our bedroom. Tom, he was singing Strangers in the Night, and after he finished singing Strangers in the Night...
I don't want to hear anymore, all
Tom,
right?
what do you want from me? Look, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I mean, you're arguing with my father, you know, about the union thing, and you won't discuss that, and you're very suspicious all the time of me and Foley, no matter what I tell you. I mean, I can tell you nothing's going on, and now you're invading the privacy of my dreams. Why are you doing this?
I don't know. Look, something's not right.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Something's very bad between us. You know that, don't you? Hmm? Every time I try to get to the bottom of it, you make jokes. Now look, sweetheart, hey, don't you want to work things out?
I do more than anything in the world.
Okay. Now. Now tell me the truth about Foley. Now, come on.
I'm doing the best I can. No, but seriously, folks, I'm sorry. No, I'm really sorry.
No, come
I
on.
can't help.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all this morning? Hope not interrupting nothing.
Anna Kate E-double-L-O double good Kellogg's. Good morning to you.
Well, we were just having some coffee and arguments. No, I'm only kidding. We were just having some donuts. You want a donut? Morton's frozen.
No, don't have time, Mary. Gotta shove off for the plant. Tom, can you give me a lift?
Okay.
It's because of me. See, I make the car, to drive over to the Tabernacle to rehearse with the 101 Fountain of the Light Holy Choir.
You're really devoting a lot of your time to that mission, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. It's the most important thing in my life, Mary. Except for Charlie, of course.
Is that church with the kid who preaches?
That's correct. The Reverend Jimmy Joe Cheater.
Is he really a 37-year-old midget?
Midget? Mary, what'd you hear such a thing? He ain't no midget.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you, and I really did not mean to cast any doubt on your spiritual advisor. I mean, it's just Loretta. I read it somewhere. I don't know where. I read it on some supermarket tabloid.
Well, there ain't an ounce of truth to it, huh? Not an ounce. Little Reverend Jimmy Joe is 8 years old.
8 years old, and he already has a career.
Come on, Tom. We gotta go. You're in enough trouble down at the plant already without getting more demerits.
Yeah. Listen, we'll finish that talk we were having tonight, okay?
Bye-bye, honey.
Bye, baby boy.
So long, Mary.
Have a nice day, y'all.
Mary, look, I know that something's been wrong and bothering you, and I don't know what's going on between you and Tom, but hon, I just want you to know that I'm here for you. I know, Loretta, thanks. That's just something I have to work out by myself. You know what I could do is sing a few choruses, just hum,
getting your head straight. That's what you're trying to do. That's what you're trying to do. Now, if I go home, we'll just start going around in circles again and again and again and end up yelling at each other. God knows that doesn't solve the problem. What I gotta do is I gotta think through. Really think it through. I'm always going to have time. At least that's what George said. What a double cross if George turned out to be. What a poor slob he is. Old like the sunken youth that way like her. You know, well, what did I expect from him? He's 55 years old. Practically ready to retire. Jeez, though. You know, the local is stealing from me. Just look the other way. I don't know. What am I gonna do? I gotta do something. Yeah, you're right. First things first. Like, what the hell am I gonna do about Mary? What am I gonna do about Mary? Terrific.
You alone?
Huh? Oh, hi, Ed. What are you doing here?
I just thought I'd bowl a few lines and then go on home.
Oh, yeah, you bowl alone, eh?
Yeah, once in a while.
Yeah, I'll be damned.
Well, what's the scoop? That's what you're doing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what I do. You know, I like to come down here and bowl a few lines by myself. I like to think things out, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, the same here.
Huh. Ain't that something? You want to join me?
Well, yeah, I thought I'd have a beer first. I brought one up before I did, want it?
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. Listen, I've been working up a thirst. Here's to you.
Oh, hey, what happened when you talked to Curly yesterday?
Not a hell of a lot.
Yeah, well, that figures.
Yeah, it figures. You know what doesn't figure is why the hell they made my father-in-law chairman of the Watchdog Finance Committee.
Yeah, that's why they're officials and we're on the line,
Yeah,
Tom.
that's the truth. That's the truth. You know what? I miss the coach.
Who?
Coach Fetters. The guy whose house you and your brother bought. I miss him.
Oh, yeah, listen, tell me something. Is it true that he drowned in a bowl of chicken soup?
Yeah. It's the craziest damn thing you ever heard of, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I miss talking to him. I really do. I mean, I used to go over to the gym there and shoot baskets. You ever play basketball?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I used to go over, you know, and shoot a few hoops, and then afterwards we'd sit and shoot the breeze, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss that. I never go over to the gym anymore. Never. I don't even eat chicken soup anymore.
Well, I'm not the easiest guy in the world to talk to, but if you want to give it a try.
No, that's okay.
I mean, I'm not too bad a listener, you know.
Yeah, well, it's kind of a personal thing, you know.
Sure.
And, it's about a husband and a wife. You've never been married, though, have you been married once, maybe?
No, I haven't. No, not yet.
Are you thinking about it?
Yeah, sure I have. But, well, right now there's something standing in my way, you know.
Well, the girl doesn't want to get married?
Well, look, I appreciate your interest, but like you just said, it's kind of a private thing, you know.
Oh, sure. Listen, if you ever change your mind, though, I'm a pretty good listener myself.
Well, some other time.
Okay, sure.
So what's with you and your wife? I mean, I know you said you don't want to talk about it, but I can see it's going to spill over yet.
Well, it really shows, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're okay, Ed. You're okay.
You're not so bad yourself.
I'll tell you what it is, the question of trust. I've been married 14 years, you know. 14 years in the same woman. I'm getting suspicious of her, Ed. I don't trust her anymore. I mean, I think she's fooling around behind my back, and that's driving me up the wall.
Another guy, huh?
I think so. It's got to be. I mean, she doesn't want to talk about it, but I mean, we just keep going round and round in circles about it, you know?
Yeah, I do know. I know how rough it can be. Suspicions can really ruin a relationship. I mean, if there's no trust between two people who love each other, there isn't anything.
You got nothing, pal. Nothing.
Even between brothers. So come on, what do you say we bowl, huh?
Yeah.
Hi, honey.
Oh, hi, baby boy. Honey, I'm just glad you got home.
You're not half so glad as you're gonna be when you hear what I got to say to you.
Well, you just hear what I've got to say to you. Guess who's here?
Who?
Merle Jeter. this is his daddy, and he's the business head. Of course, it really isn't a business, so I guess he's just the head, you know, of it.
Oh. I thought when you said the little boys' room, I figured...
Well, that was just, you know, figure of speech.
Honey, listen, Clyde and me made that call to Detroit.
Hello there.
Oh,
How are you?
Merle Jeter, I want you to meet my precious darling husband, Charlie Haggers.
Your husband?
Yeah, her husband.
Oh, I thought that picture of that bald-headed man in there was your daddy.
Well, Charlie is a mite bit older than me, but actually, we're legally man and wife in the eyes of the Lord and in the state of Oklahoma.
Well, I'm going to have to apologize to you, Mrs. Haggers. I've been calling you Miss all this time. I didn't know you were married. Mr. Haggers, glad to know you.
Likewise.
Mr. Jeters came by to drop some pamphlets off to me, you know, so I can continue spreading the word of the Lord door to door.
Right. You know, your wife here is one of our best workers now. She's distributed more of our pamphlets in a few days than most of our people do in a month of Sundays.
Well, she puts in a lot of time at it. That and singing in the choir.
Yeah, well, she's truly inspired, like little Jimmy Joe says.
He says that.
She says she's been called to serve the Lord.
Amen.
Sit down, Mr. Jeter. Listen, I think that's real fine, you know. Loretta's calling and all. I wouldn't want to stand in the way of anyone's calling, but Loretta does have another calling, her career.
Oh, well, Charlie, we probably shouldn't be talking about them two in the same breath, you know, because, I mean, one's a calling for the Lord and the other's a
The other's a
calling...
call from Detroit, honey, which is what I was trying to tell you about when Mr. Jeter...
I don't think we should discuss business in front of the head of the missionary center, you know, because his son works for the Lord and everything.
No, Mrs. Haggers, that's quite all right. In fact, I'd love to hear about your career in the record business.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Jeter. Now, listen, Clyde is a sound recording engineer. He has his own studio here, and that's where we recorded Baby Boy, and that's his brother that released Loretta's hit single of Baby Boy.
Oh, well, now I heard that several times on the radio a few weeks ago.
You did,
Yeah.
did you? Of course, you know, it's a commercial. I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed because it's a pretty commercial.
Honey, country and western is nothing to be ashamed about. It's all hard. Anyway, Clyde and me talked his brother into backing a single of Vitamin L.
You did?
Yeah, his brother's going to put up the money, and we're going to make the record at Clyde's studio.
Good, Charlie! I can't believe it! That's fabulous! I don't know, Charlie.
You don't know?
I just don't know if it jives, you know, with the work I've been doing for the mission. I've been using my voice for the Lord, Charlie, you know?
Yeah, your wife does have a beautiful instrument, Mr. Haggers.
Well, I don't see why she can't use it for the Lord and for country records, too.
Well, I think it might be what they call conflict of interests.
Well, now just hold on a minute. I may be able to solve this problem.
I would be much obliged if you could.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to my son about it.
Would you? Do you think little Reverend Jimmy Joe would have the answer?
Well, he's in direct communication with the Lord, and as we all know, the Lord has the answer to any question, so...
Amen to that.
Right. Mr. Haggers, a real pleasure.
Likewise.
Well, Miss G, aren't you going to stay for some Oreos and coffee?
I better be on my way. Thank you, though. I hope I'll see you at the mission tomorrow, though.
Oh, well, you surely will, huh?
Yeah.
I'll be there. Listen, thank you for dropping them pamphlets off.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Bye, y'all.
Okay. Bye. Have a nice day now.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, Charlie, honey, what's wrong?
I don't know whether I like the idea of waiting on the word of an 8-year-old kid before we can make your record.
But Charlie, it's the word of the Lord.
Is it?
Charlie.
Harry, you really ought to take the sunglasses off.
I don't want anyone to see me.
I think you call more attention to yourself with them on than off. And besides, there is no one else here.
What about the waiters?
I don't think they'll recognize you. This is an out-of-the-way place.
Well, all right.
see you as a social occasion, but what was so urgent? I mean, why did you ask me to come here as soon as I got off duty? And why couldn't you come over to my place?
I'm here for one reason, Dennis, and one reason only. Thursday's off.
Why, Mary?
I don't want to talk about it. Do you want order?
We have to talk about it.
Dennis, this is not negotiable. I won't be there. Is the scampi good here?
No matter what you're feeling?
Dennis, I can't do this. You don't seem to understand. I mean, I'm a married woman, and I'm a mother. And, we could split a veal parmesan because I hate veal.
Mary, would it surprise you if I told you I understand?
You do?
Yes. Don't you think I know what you're going through? Mary, you're a very decent, moral, sensitive, beautiful woman. And even though your feelings are overwhelming you, you find it difficult to be with anyone except your husband.
It's not difficult. It's impossible. I mean, I can't.
I understand. But, what about, your concern for me? Do you have any, knowing what you know?
What do I know?
That I love you.
You love me. You never said you loved me.
But I do.
No, you don't. You're just saying that because you know how much
How much you want me to say?
I didn't say that.
You didn't have to.
So what about the veal? I mean, or, maybe we just shouldn't order all. We could just stick with the appetizers.
I'm not saying it for your sake, Mary. I'm saying it for my sake. I have loved you from the minute I met you in the police station after I booked your grandfather.
You love me?
Yes.
Why didn't you mention this before?
Because I thought you knew.
No, I didn't know. How could I know? I could never even have guessed. No, you don't love me.
Yes, I can, and I do. And now, will you go to my apartment with me?
No, but you just don't seem to understand it. I mean, I really can't go to your apartment with you. I mean, it's much harder now that you said you love me. Why did you say that?
Mary, I couldn't help myself. I love you. And you love me. And we must be together. Don't you see that it's the only way we'll ever be happy?
No, I'm very sorry, but this was not supposed to happen. I mean, I really can't deal with this. I really can't deal with this. I just I have to go now because I have to get home and I have to make some dinner and everything. Oh well, what I could do is I could order something here and I could just take it out. I said, but no, I better go now. I better go because every time I give Heather Italian, she throws up. So.
This isn't goodbye. We still have plenty of time. It's only Wednesday. And that gives you 24 hours to think about it. About us.
I mean, I based on last episode, I don't think that Mary was dreaming of Dennis necessarily, although she has had him on the mind. I think when she called out Howard's name, that may have been it. She did start the episode humming Strangers in the Night before the conversation began. And maybe she did have some dream about Frank Sinatra. Maybe Frank Sinatra was included in the dream somewhere. We didn't really see the dream, so we'll either have to take her at her word for it or believe that she is making up a lot of stuff, or maybe somewhere in the middle. But I do feel some pain for Tom. I feel like Tom does want to fix the situation. Neither Mary nor Tom actually have the tools to fix the situation. And as I've said many times before, Tom's one attempt to go to therapy went very poorly. And I don't know that he even has a tool to really fix the situation other than like just venting his emotional stuff, which we'll talk about later. Of course, Mary then comes on to, or not comes on to, but has a small conversation with Loretta, and Loretta is as supportive as she can be with her fixation on the church. The tabernacle with the 101 voices. I don't remember what the next scene is or what order they came in, so I think it was the monologue at the bowling alley with Tom. And I thought that was a really interesting way for us to hear Tom's thoughts. We hadn't seen very many monologue or internal monologues in the show. And what was really nice after that was seeing Tom connect with Ed in a way that he was trying to connect with Leroy so many months ago before his passing. Ed is maybe a bit of a mystery to me. I think the relationship between Ed and Howard is kind of a question, like what is going on there? I guess we'll dig into that. There seems to be some mystery about what is standing in the way between Ed and eventually getting married. There's something standing in the way there. There's a lot of mistrust between Ed and Howard that he expressed here. So I'm hoping that that will be cleared up, or at least illuminated, so we know what it is. Then we had our exchange with Loretta, Charlie, and Merle Jeter. That reminds me that way back, close to the beginning of the series, there was another character named Merle, who kind of had an assaulty situation going on there when Loretta and Charlie were in some trouble on the road. And we don't really see any of that storyline playing off. I just remembered that that was a Merle way back when that I suspected we may be seeing, but I don't think we're going to see that guy. But Merle is the father of Jimmy Joe Jeter and apparently has to check in with the 8-year-old boy that might be a 37-year-old midget little person. And we'll see what that is, but I think that Vitamin L having a shot at getting recorded versus the work that Loretta wants to do for the ministry, well, that is something. I guess we'll see how that works out. And then finally, our exchange between Dennis and Mary. And I just always want Dennis to go away. I know that he feels sincerely about what he's doing, but he's also quite manipulative. Yes, I recognized in the first episode of the series that Dennis had some attraction for Mary, and that was kind of sweet. But when I see him here, I feel like he is manipulating her, and I feel like she is falling for it to a certain extent. I I feel like his, and I've said this before, I feel like his lack of caring about the emotions of the other people that he's in a relationship with are a huge red flag. And that he is willing to let it be a game that he is playing, that doesn't sit well with me. So to see Dennis's expression of love towards Mary have an impact on her was fairly scary to me. So that was the May 12th, 1976 episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thanks for letting me get all of these things in my heart off my chest. We will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.